Introducing the iBox squad. We bring the hype and we bring the pain. Throw that 1-2, hook 1-1-2-1-2, and we set it up with feints. If we get knocked down, then we get back up, or more something like Ukraine. We do this something like Usyk. We're separating the real from the fake.
Fight fans, welcome. I'm Sandra the Tartan Witch Reese, and I am here today with the bare knuckle fighter Jimmy the Tank Wilson after his defeat to Nathan Beadsmoore in the WBKB 4 show. Welcome, Jimmy.
Yeah, how you doing?
How's it going, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, just chilling. Having a bit of a rest time till before I start training again.
You're looking not marked up at all. Like, you're looking pretty fresh, mate. How are you feeling?
Yeah, not too bad. I got obviously some cuts on my head. I think that's where majority of the blood obviously came from. I had blood all off my arms, but that was obviously from the top of my head. And I've got a bit of a mark on the top of my eyebrow. But apart from that, yeah, to tell the truth, I feel good. I could probably get back to training now, but I wanted to give myself a couple of days before obviously we got back into it again.
Yeah, of course. A bit of downtime with the family, just because, like, even though you didn't win that fight, mate, that was an unbelievable performance. Like, you done so well. You touched the canvas a few times, but you got right back up on your feet. And to be fair, I think you boxed really well as well. And you done such a good job. I know Nathan was quite tough, wasn't he? But
yeah,
he also got in trouble quite a few times. Myself and David, one more round, we were commentating. We were the commentary team, and we did notice that Danny Christie, who was the referee in yours and Nathan's fight, he had to have a little word with him quite a few times, didn't he, about hitting you when you were on the canvas. He continued. I think he got about 3-4 shots altogether.
I think what happened with that, obviously, it's not feeling like Nathan, to tell the truth, after the fight and stuff, probably one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Honestly, absolute sound guy and stuff like that. I think, obviously, we all had a chat after the fight and all that kind of stuff and that. And I think it was experience. I think he just got a bit carried away. Obviously, there's the whole that working in the clinch, getting them against the things like that, like against the rope.
100%.
And I think what's happened is he's just kept going. And obviously, I've taken a knee, and I think he just went, oh, just keep going. I don't think he's done it on purpose.
No, 100%. We said that on the night. This is the kind of lack of inexperience from Nathan's side, because Nathan hasn't had any fights before. He has trained in the gym. He's always been in the gym doing a bit of MMA, Muay Thai and boxing, I think. But I don't think he's ever actually had a competitive fight. So you know yourself, that feeling of when you first step in the ring, it's your debut, there's a lot of emotions going around, and it's just one of those things where there was another fight, it was the Sam Blakely and Martin Cutter, where the bell went, but everybody was so engrossed in the fight, nobody heard the bell. Like, the fight went like 5 seconds over, and it was because everybody in that arena was just so hyper-focused into the fights. So I can understand, mate, like you said, it was a bit of a lack of experience. He is a lovely guy outside the ring. How did you feel in that fight?
Honestly, and I know that I've had a couple of people turn around and going, obviously, I should have probably let my hands go a bit more, all that kind of stuff. And I've said to obviously people, like including my wife, obviously my wife's given me a bit of feedback on it and all that kind of stuff and that. But I think what it was he hit me and I went, if that catches me on the chin, I'm probably going to go, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm probably a lot tougher than I think I am.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've had a few more fights, I've taken hits, I've got back up, all that kind of stuff and that. I think what it was and I don't know what it was, like, obviously never making any excuses for fights or anything like that, but fighting on WBKB, I think what it was I wanted to show Kevin that what I was capable of.
Yeah.
What's the word again? How far I've come compared to like swinging as much as I can in the first round and then blowing out for the next 2 rounds.
And I think you did that, mate. You showed a lot more control, a lot more patience.
But yeah, I think so I said to myself before the fight, I was not going to box him. I know he's a good boxer. I've seen his skill. He's obviously the guys that he obviously trains with, all that kind of stuff and that. I said to myself, I'm going to put it on him. And that's what I said to myself. But then we all know, we've all been in, obviously people that have been in the ring and stuff, it changes, doesn't it, when someone hits you or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I sat there and was like, you know what, I'll give it maybe a round. I was all that kind of stuff and that. Yeah, of course I'd like to go in and try and knock him out in the first round. Who wouldn't like a first round knockout? But I went in and I was like, right, let's work him out in the first round, let's see how it goes and stuff like that. And I personally think, and obviously people will think maybe different than that, I personally think I was getting better as the rounds were going on.
100%. I think if it had gone another 2 rounds, you could have won the fight. That could have been the difference.
Yeah, but I think that's what was happening. Personally, I thought he was getting tired compared to me. My fitness is definitely, and I think when I've been talking to my cornerman Spider and all that kind of stuff, I think I've concentrated getting myself fit. And what I've done is got myself fit, but then not concentrating on the boxing part of the side of it.
Okay.
And the amount of times, like sometimes I've seen my feet go, oh, I'm going, what the hell am I doing there, and all that kind of stuff and that. And I think what it was like, yes, my fitness is up. I can definitely go 3, 4, 5 rounds or whatever like that. And then, like, just didn't concentrate on the other stuff, if that makes sense.
So the more kind of technical, the technical side of things, maybe you didn't concentrate on as much in that camp as try to get that fitness level up. But now the fitness level is up and you're at that level now, you can now go on to, like you said, concentrating on that technical side of things. Is there anything that you would have done differently in the fight?
Yeah, probably just let my hands go more. Okay. I think that's what it is. Definitely let my hands go more. Maybe not being on the back foot as much. Would have been a smaller fighter, I definitely shouldn't have been on that back foot. But I think knowing the power that he's got, I think it was just I was trying to box smart. I think that's what I was trying to do.
And you did. You did
and I do think I got away, and I do think I had a bit more head movement than usual. A bit more control and stuff. All I can do is take away from that. So what I need to do now is work on the fit. Obviously, my fitness is there. Just keep up that fitness now.
Yep.
And just concentrate on now getting in, moving my head, getting them body shots, them overhand right. Because them overhand rights, I know, and my old opponents and every other person knows, if I catch you an over right hand, you're going to know about it.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. And I think with Nathan, Nathan knew that. And there was a lot of, when I go for the over right-handed move, like he definitely moved. He did not want that over right hand.
Yeah.
And then the amount of times, like sometimes I'll feint it, and you could see his like move a little bit more compared to like if I feint with a body shot, he's not that fussed.
Yeah. Yeah. He knew your biggest tool in your box, and he knew to watch out for that overhand. He was definitely, like you said, he was very good at getting in and then coming back out. There was a few head clashes as well.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that's maybe what had actually caused the cut on the top of your head was the head clash.
Yeah, so he did punch me a few times on the top of the head. I reckon the clash probably did, because I cut on the top of my eyebrow. Okay. I don't remember him touching the top, like catching the top of my eyebrow with a jab or anything like that.
Okay.
So maybe that was it. But obviously, when you're in the ring, everything just goes blurry, doesn't it, and all that kind of stuff and that. But yeah, I just need to. Yeah, there's a lot to work on. I know I'm a better boxer. I know I'm a better fighter than that. Not taking anything away from Nathan at all. He was a strong, powerful guy and stuff. I've dropped down to 70 kilograms. If that was me at 80 and someone hit me like that, all that I admit it, I probably wouldn't even made it out the first round. Obviously in the future, but I know I've got a fight coming up in July where I'm at 70 kilograms. So it's all about training for that. If there's any other fights come up before then, we'll see what happens.
So going over that, your next fight, what promotion is that you'll be fighting with, Jimmy?
Impact BKB.
Okay, it's the Impact BKB. And who's your opponent?
I can't remember his name. I've only spoke to him once, and someone told me about him. So he's had 2 MMA fights. He's won 1, lost 1, and then he had I don't know if it was gloved or 4 ounce or something. I can't remember what it was. Okay. He had a fight on that one, and then obviously he fought that, and he lost that one. He got knocked out in that one. Can't remember what round it was and stuff. But the guy who was fighting looked obviously fairly good and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So back to the kind of WBKB night. Who was did you sit and watch the fights or?
Yeah, so I sat, obviously after my fight, I sat and I wanted to sit and watch Martin's. Obviously that was the main one that I wanted to watch. Martin's I watched, and then I watched Nathan Pearce's fight. Okay. They were the 2 fights that I obviously seen, and then I got myself away after that. Okay. Obviously Martin's fight, just like everyone says it, wow. Do you know what I mean? I've boxed Martin before, and I know he's a tough guy and all that kind of stuff and that. And since me and Martin boxed, he's come a long way. Like bare knuckles, his thing. Like he
Yeah.
never ever wants to stick another pair of gloves on again. Bare knuckle, he needs to go that far, and he's gonna go far in bare knuckle. And I've told him he will and stuff.
100%, I agree with you. But back, like what you were saying as well, like with the progression yourself, like I did see a lot of progression for yourself in the ring there on Saturday. Like I say, I feel like you were far more patient. You boxed a lot cleaner as well. And like you said, it's finding that where to put the pedal, where to push the gas, isn't it? It's finding that understanding and of your gas tank and knowing when to push forward, when to pull back, and not wanting to deplete yourself too much before the end. And you thought you were doing five rounds. That's correct, isn't it?
So that's yeah. So I thought it was when obviously Danny Christie did come over the rules and stuff. Obviously, not blaming Danny Christie, not blaming anyone about
No.
the
As
rules or
far as
anything like
he
that.
knew,
Yeah.
it was meant to be five
So then I
rounds.
was obviously pacing myself for them 5 rounds and stuff. This is how confident I was. I thought that I'd have done all right if I did 5 rounds. Is I've just spoke to the Impact BKB company and I've asked them see if they're happy to put my fight on next for 5 rounds for that fight.
Wow.
Obviously it's all down to asking the person if he wants to do
If
that
he
five
wants to
rounds
do
or
it as
anything like
well.
that.
Yeah.
But I've asked for that 5 rounds. I feel like that my fitness and my experience now is getting to that point where I'm starting to move up the levels and stuff.
Yes.
Obviously, if he ever hit somehow I made BKFC or whatever, that's 5 rounds. I've got to start boxing like I want to be in 5 rounds.
Okay.
Same as BKB. I think they're 3 minute rounds or something like that. I think that is. Yeah, again, need to stab it. And that's all it is just pushing myself back up to now. Going down to the Lions Den instead of training myself now, that's just helped so much. We're doing 12 rounds every time we're training, sparring, all that kind of stuff. Doesn't matter how tired you are, we're just cracking on, bang, bang, bang. And my fitness is definitely 100% there. It's now just working on that footwork. I know it's my footwork. My footwork's always been my technically my kryptonite, if you want to call it.
Yeah.
I was a brawler. I wanted to get in there and brawl and fight people and stuff like that. Now, like you said there, I need to learn how to like where to box, but then also put that brawling situation in there. So like, yeah. So if it comes down to the goal, right, I know I've got a bit more gas in the tank for the next round, right? Let's smash it out for a little bit for this next 30 seconds or stuff like that. And that's all it is. Like I say, I was personally disappointed in my performance. I personally think I could have done a lot better, but
But going
obviously
back to you
that's me.
thinking, going back as well though, if you had maybe known at the start that it was three 2-minute rounds, you might have pushed that little bit. But I think it was the confusion of because we were BKFC rules and like we were kind of using the BKFC template. So I think that's where the confusion did come in. But I think most fights, the only fights that were 5 rounds were the title fights. All or most of the other ones that weren't titles, just the ones on the card, they were 3 minutes.
Yeah,
but
that's it, yeah.
we live, we learn. Like you said, you have gained a lot of experience from that fight. You've shown that you can box as well as be a brawler as well. And I had heard about this guy's power when I was interviewing, and a few people had said in sparring and stuff, he has really, really heavy hands. So the fact that you took that, mate, and you just got back up and you made it to the end of the 3rd round, like I was super buzzing for you. And I know that everybody, the place was going crazy as well.
Definitely.
What an atmosphere.
Yeah, no, like you say, definitely. It's like I say, the main was to win. Obviously, everyone wants to win, isn't it? But like I've spoke to Martin a few times, and I've put myself down a little bit for the last few days. Like I've sat there and went, like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've went, is this really for me? All that people probably go through that situation. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
And I just sat there and I was like, is it for me? Should I be doing this? I've dropped 70 kilograms, but I'm still getting beat. All this kind of stuff. And I think what I've done is to myself is I've turned around and went, well, I won my last 2 fights easy. I think that's what I've done. I've gone into this fight and went this, and I didn't underestimate him at all. I didn't go and I'm going to knock him out in the first round. Like I knew, yes, everyone's got to be confident. You know what I mean? I've just come off for two knockout things. I was like, I'm having him and stuff like that. But I put myself down a lot. But I spoke to Martin, I spoke to Spider, I spoke to obviously my wife, all that kind of stuff and that. And you can't win them all, can you? That's where I look at it. Well, unless you're Martin, but you can't win
And
them all.
mate, let's be real as well. Like, a lot of guys just quit in there. A lot of guys get hit with a hard shot and they can't take it. They give up. You don't give up. You never give up. That is the heart. You have the heart of a true lion, mate. And those, technical things will come. The other things will come, but you can't teach. You can't teach balls and you can't teach the heart of a lion. It's something that you've got to be born with. So
Yeah.
please do not give up, because you're one. I'm a fan of yours. I like watching you fight. So please do not give up. What's next for the Tank? What's next for Jimmy Wilson? Who do you want to fight? Is there anyone that you want to fight?
Right, so I've seen obviously a lot of names being thrown out. I've spoke to a lot of people, all that kind of stuff. I've got respect for so many fighters and all that kind of stuff. And maybe some fighters are maybe out of my league and that. But I've sat there and I had a little think about it the other day. And I was having a chat obviously with Danny Christie, having a chat with obviously David Round, all that kind of stuff and that. And I sat there and I had a little think about it and I was like, well, I know me and Flash are two different people. But I've sat there and seen Flash. He's fought obviously Scott. He's looking at obviously Robbie Brown. I had a little chat with Robbie Brown actually the other day, saying I'd like to fight him as well.
Yeah.
And Robbie Brown said if we can get this over the line, he said it'd be good. Obviously respect all that kind of stuff and that. But honestly, if I could get over the line, and I know it's a big fight and it's maybe obviously a slim chance it'll ever happen. But David Round, honestly, I think. I'm a big fan of him. I'm a really, really big fan of him, and it's all
Is that what
respect and
it
stuff.
is? Is that you would love to share the ring with him? It would just be like that.
Yeah, even
Honor.
if it's to the point, obviously, I'd go in there and fight him and hope I win.
Yeah.
Obviously, everyone's gonna go and hope we Finn and that. If I some obviously miracle, and I'm obviously like I say, this is just me putting myself down from my last fight. The way you look at it is everyone always goes from your last fight. Never look at your future fight, all that kind of stuff and that. But it'd be good to even just make 3 rounds with him. What he wants to do, as long as I get enough training and a promoter puts it on or whatever like that. I'm not asking someone to pay me massive money. Do you know what I mean? I'm not asking for thousands, whatever like that. Like I say, I get paid some money, I get paid no money, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, I would like to get paid. Not who wouldn't. I've got a family to feed, obviously a family to all that kind of stuff and that. I'm away for training, obviously with looking after the kids and all that kind of stuff and that. But if someone wants to take it on, obviously WBKB, I know it's probably a big thing. Obviously, Bad to the Bone. Whoever decides wants to put it on the line.
So, if there is any fight promotions out there that's looking for a juicy fight, Jimmy the Tank Wilson vs David One More Round. If you guys
100%.
fancy it, get in touch with Jimmy, get in touch with David. Yeah, mate, I totally understand what you're saying, because what you're now thinking about, like, well, who do I actually want to share the ring with? Who, like, it's that honour thing, isn't it, as well? Like, to be honoured, like you said, if anyone, like you said, if you could beat him, that would be amazing. But even then, if he beat you, it's David Round.
That's it. I think what it is if I never make it on the BKFC or I never make it on the BKB or anything like that, even if I just fight one big person, like like a big name or all that kind of stuff and that. And obviously David Round, I've watched him for years. I've watched obviously his fights. I think he's actually got one coming up on the Bad to the Bone at the moment. I think I can't remember what day it is. It's not the next one, it's the one after that.
It's
all
the
that
one
kind
after,
of stuff.
I think, yeah.
And like I say, I've spoke to obviously Robbie Brown, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, David Round, 100%. I'd love to fight, honestly, and it's all respect.
If not David Round, maybe Robbie Brown as well.
Yeah.
That'd be another name to look at. I think you could go really far in the bare knuckle world, Jimmy. I think you criticise yourself a lot, which every really, really good fighter does. Every really good fighter does that, because that's how you get better. But I think you don't give yourself enough credit as well for how far you've come in the last few years as well, the last couple of years with your fighting. Because like I say, mate, I'm a big fan. I think you've done amazing. And even on Saturday night, even through defeat, you had a heart of an absolute lion. You did not give up once. And not many people are born with that kind of blood in their veins. So huge congratulations and commiserations at the same time, because I think you've done amazing. I think you should be very proud of yourself. And Yeah, mate, I'm fingers crossing that you either get David one more round next, or Robbie Brown, or someone, if you're a bit of a name, you know, like you said, someone with a bit of a name to bring a bit of make it a
Well,
bit
I think
juicy.
the way I look at it is it's all to do with experience. Like I say, you go in there, you want to win fights and all that kind of stuff.
Of
But
course.
if I lost against Robbie Brown, or I lost against David Round, or whoever else wants it, or whatever like that, then it's experience to fight someone that good. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? I know these are good things, and it would be to the point where I train harder than ever. Probably trained harder than ever for this fight, if that makes sense, against
yeah,
Nathan. But if I fought any of them, like I say, I'd be down at the gym every day. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
I'd be pushing
You're trying
myself.
to level it up now. You're trying to challenge yourself. You're trying to push yourself, as you're obviously doing that way now. You know, you're going from taking 3 rounds, 2-minute rounds, to now asking, listen, can I get some 5 2-minute rounds?
I like when I spoke to Martin Smith, we both had a chat and stuff, and we both turned around and said well, not personally me, obviously, because I didn't know much at the start, but like Martin says, he got better during the rounds, and he did. He definitely got better when he was facing Sam.
Yeah,
And then I sat there and we had a little chat and stuff, and he turned around and said to me, he was like, "You're probably like me." He says, "You just need that bit of a warmth." Yeah,
need to be woke
maybe
up.
get punched and get dropped a few times. Obviously, Martin did. You know what I mean? And it sounds
Sometimes,
stupid,
yeah,
but you get hit and you go, "Fell one, right? Yes, I got dropped, but I got back up
wake
again."
up.
Meaning, you can't hurt me,
Yeah, you
and all
wake
that
up
kind of
and it
stuff. And
builds
that,
the confidence, like you said, to know, like, right, he just hit me with that and I'm still standing here. So do you know what I mean? I can do this. No, so your next fight is on July. What date is it again, mate?
July 5th it is.
July the 5th.
I'm going to see if I can get some, obviously, other ones before then. Maybe some
Yeah,
glove ones, maybe not
okay.
bare knuckle. Just get myself a bit more experience. Well, not experience. What's the word again? Just so I don't get any ring rust. That's all that
Keep
kind of
you
stuff. And
ticking
that.
over. It'll keep you ticking
Yeah, yeah.
over, so that you're not sitting a long period. Well, mate, July 5th, all the best with the BKB. It is a bare knuckle as well, isn't it?
The bare knuckle one, yes,
For
it is. Yeah.
anybody that wants to buy a ticket from Jimmy, anybody that wants to go to his fight, please drop him a message either through Instagram, because you're on Instagram, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Drop him a message through Instagram, or contact myself through Facebook if you don't have Instagram, and I will pass on the message to Jimmy. But yeah, mate, thank you very, very much for coming
No,
on
thank
today
you.
to having a little chat with us. And like I say, you've done fantastic on the night, and I
Thank you.
can't wait to see your next fight.
Thank you very much.
Would you, before we go, just give a big shout out to the WBKB and iBox, please?
Yeah. So thank you, obviously, WBKB. Like I say, that's 3 fights I've had on your show now, and every single fight just gets better. Like every show just gets better. Do you know what I mean? And I'd love to keep fighting on there. I'd love to keep going and going. And obviously, when you next show up, if you've got room for me, thank you. If you haven't, I'll still be there anyways to come and watch a few fights anyways, either way. And then obviously iBox as well. They've helped me out with obviously my interviews. And you obviously a big part in my, if you want to call it, fight career, if that's what you call it. I didn't really do much before iBox got involved, and then obviously people started knowing me, and I think it was from when I had my title fight, that's when I had iBox getting involved, and now hopefully, fingers crossed, a lot more people know who I am.
No, 100%, mate. And I think that's what a lot of the fighters lack, is just that coverage around them, so people know who they are, people can watch their fights. So it's been an absolute honour and a pleasure working alongside you and helping you level up to those heights. And we'll have you back on again before your fight anyway.
No
And
problem.
we'll go a little bit over your next fight and the opponent and stuff.
Introducing the iBox squad, we bring the hype and we bring the pain. Throw that 1-2, hook 1-1-2-1-2, and we set it up with feints. If we get knocked down, then we get back up, or more something like Ukraine. We do this something like Usyk, we're separating the real from the fake.